Are you frustrated that you cannot control your mind? That regardless of how hard you try, your thoughts just seems to be jumping all over the place, saying whatever they're saying. Well, what if that's not the actual problem? What if we were never meant to be able to control our minds? What if the mission of controlling our mind is a lifelong assignment that is doomed to fail? Actually, I'd like to suggest that that's probably the case. And I'm not telling you just to surrender and accept the suffering that's in store because your mind is jumping all over the place. No, we can't force acceptance. Acceptance is a byproduct of seeing something clearly, of actually accepting the way it is, not forcing, not forcing defeat. Yeah. And maybe the first step is realizing how little power we have over our minds. And then later, we'll address what to do when we see we have no power. But first step, seeing that we actually have no power. I'm going to do it with a lived example. And the invitation for you is to observe your own mind. Like, say, for instance, I ask you to think about an elephant. Actually, think about an elephant's butt. This big, juicy donk with a cute little tail wagging. Is that what you see? Actually, let's go even further. Let's pretend that this elephant has a big, flowery tattoo on its butt. Is that what you see? Did you choose to have an elephant's butt in your face, tattooed, in this moment? I mean, maybe you did. Probably you didn't. And I'm sorry about that. If it makes you feel any better, we are in the same boat. I also have a big elephant butt in my face. I guess none of us choose to be in this position. But the point is, you had no option. Your mind didn't consult you and said, well, should we render a tattoo? Is that ethical on this precious creature's little hiney? No, it just went ahead and gave you the full tour. Were you to stop that process from happening? I mean, how would that even work? Okay, I'd suggest it's impossible. But don't take my word for it. Explore for yourself. And for me, that was like an on and off twisting and turning of realizing that I'm actually powerless. My mind will keep going. Sometimes it's self-critical, sometimes it's judgmental of others, sometimes it's analytical, sometimes it's just humming along with a song, on and on and on, and I can't turn it off. I mean, part of it is realizing that there's a bit of madness in there. My mind just picks up random things throughout my life and then it just records them. Something is really, really wise and something is really boring and dumb. Even kind of unkind, to put it mildly. And that can easily leave us in a state of despair. But the only reason it would produce that kind of like, that would be the end station, is if we think that it matters. That it matters to us what our mind is doing. And I like to suggest that it doesn't really matter. If it held power over me, then yes, it would be quite a torture to have it go off on a uncharming tangent. But once I realize that it holds no power over me, it can do whatever it wants. It doesn't really matter what the mind's up to. And honestly, I think that's why we want to stop the mind. Why there is this narrative or longing to be able to control the mind. The reason is that we think it holds power over us. But if we dismantle that, if we see the illusion of the idea that the mind holds any kind of power over me, well, then there's no reason to control it. It's just a force of nature. It does its thing. And it's one thing being told that the mind holds no power over you. But that's not really enough, because if we believe that we are in the grip of our mind, then that is where we start. We explore that. Okay, so how come I think that my mind holds power over me? Because that's usually where all of us start. That's where I started, and that's sometimes where I still get lost. One reason is, or one way of looking at it, is the way that the mind communicates to me is usually in the form of thoughts, sometimes in the way of bodily contractions, like the mind has an interaction with our nervous system in our body, and that's where the embodiment takes part. We can include that or not, but let's just stay with thoughts for now. It's basically the same principle. So it comes in the form of thoughts, and it feels like they have power over me. So what are thoughts really? What makes me think they have power over me? If I watch them closely, if I go inward, if I sit and actually observe these thoughts that I think have power over me, I will realize that they are just occurring within my inner world. And you can check that out for yourself now. Whatever thought goes through your inner world, if you listen to that thought, and then you also pay attention to my voice, is there a difference between those words? Like, not the actual words, but the way you register them. Do they appear in different filters? Like, the way you relate to those words, are they just as though different speakers pop up in your head? What gives some of them more power and some of them, like from the outside, less power? It is whether you choose to listen to them. In other words, the power is with you. You choose if you listen to your thoughts, or if you listen to my voice, or if you listen to whomever is speaking. You are the one that grants power to words. And it can feel like our thoughts come from this powerful entity inside. But if you go look for that entity, I'd like to suggest that you will not find it. Your thoughts don't arise from a powerful entity within. They arise out of emptiness, out of a vast spaciousness. And not just any vast spaciousness, they arise out of you, out of the essence of you. And you can choose whether to listen to them or not. And once we see this, that the power lies with us, with the essence of me as the observer of my thoughts, then I all of a sudden have the discernment to use my mind, to use the thoughts when I find that they're valuable. I can relate to my thoughts more as an assistant, which is sometimes amazing with wisdom, with calculation, with analytical, rational, coherent flows. And sometimes it's a 5-year-old with a tantrum. At other times, it's a flirtatious teenager. It is a desperate little victim trying just to feel safe. They're not actually threatening you in any way, unless you choose to see them like that. We can relate to our mind as a little helper. That's sometimes a bit troubled helper, and sometimes not. But if we think that the mind is at the steering wheel, if we give them what's that thing called on a boat? The big main steering wheel of the ship, well, we're bound for suffering. We give our own power away to something that doesn't have access to the essence of life like we do. It doesn't know where we're heading. It doesn't know happiness. It doesn't know love. It doesn't know belonging. It has just been trained with data, and now it's repeating that. The steering or the navigation is within us. We don't need to give it to the mind. Actually, when we look at it, it's not even trying to take it away from us. We're willingly giving it power. And why does it not sometimes feel like that? Well, personally, from my experience, it's when we believe part of the mind. Like I make a distinction of like, okay, these are thoughts. They are not me. But these thoughts here, they have some kind of a different elevation. So they are me. Like let's say, for instance, a thought that I once thought was me, and that was that I have to be very competent. I am a competent person. And then I became conflict with other thoughts that said that, oh, you're not performing well enough. People are disappointed with you. And then it becomes like these two are in conflict. But in fact, I am neither of them. This thought that says that I have to be competent, it is just a thought as well. I don't have to be anything. I am. Sometimes what I do can be evaluated as competent. Sometimes what I do can be evaluated as quite clumsy. I don't need an identity anywhere. I don't need a mind reminding me that I need to be competent. So the idea that I need to control my mind is actually a thought in and of itself. We've just put it a little bit too close to us, but if we observe it, where is that coming from? The idea that I need to control my mind. If we zoom in on it, if we observe it, almost like go inside, taste it, look around it, feel it, observe it arise and observe it fall. See what else it triggers. I'd like to suggest that it's just a thought. Maybe associated with contractions in the body, stagnation. They hold no power over you either. They're just the embodied version of a thought. Yes. The freedom that we're looking for is already here, regardless of what the mind's doing. You're free. You've already arrived. Well, in fact, you never left. So I hope the elephant butt keeps on giving. And if you have any thoughts, any reflections, then please do share in the comment section. And if you want more content like this, then don't forget to subscribe. Take care, my friend, and I hope to see you next time.